Welcome back to Blair's Bites. My name is Ryan Louderback, your host, and today we have some representatives of our football state champs. So I'll have you introduce yourself.
I'm Isaiah Williams. I'm a senior, and I play D line and O line.
Braven Powell, quarterback, senior as well. So
Yes. And I know both of you are team captains, so we're going to start rolling with this. What was your biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge for me was keeping everybody calm when things weren't going our way, and we had some hotheads on our team, so it was I had to manage like our behavior towards the refs or towards the other team. So
Right.
that's probably the biggest thing for me.
I'd say the biggest challenge was just doing it with a new group of guys, trying to get them to believe in themselves because a lot of them had never been in the situations that they were going to be put in before. So there was a lot of fresh meat out there on the field.
Right.
And so, like he said, trying to keep people calm and at the same level no matter where we were in the game because we had a lot of new faces that hadn't played at that level yet. So,
Right. And welcome back to the podcast, actually.
yes.
So I know there's a lot of difference from the state games the last 2 years. What was the biggest variance for your perspective?
I think we just had to shift our offensive mindset a little bit this year. We had some of our receivers get hurt, so we didn't get to throw it as much as we wanted to and as much as we thought we were going to this year, to be quite frank. But so we just had to play smash mouth, and we knew that our line was going to have to be really physical and that they were going to be what decided how far we went in the playoffs. So last year, they obviously had to be tough too, but we also had a little more leeway because we could throw the ball more than we could this year whenever guys like Jake and Tim got hurt. So I'll say it was just our game plan was really the biggest change
Yeah.
from the offensive side of the ball, at least.
Well, from the defensive side of the ball, we lost 9 starters. So
Right.
it was me and Caleb, and then just 9 other people that were new. So it's kind of it's a rhythm thing and a chemistry thing, and getting everybody to play together at the same speed
Right.
is really just the difference from this year and last year. Because last year we were just one unit, one man sound army,
Like in sync.
and we had one of the best defensive seasons in Kansas history last year, and then to go into this year having a whole brand new defense and still being able to win a championship I think that's the biggest difference, and it just shows our toughness and our grit.
Yeah.
You know?
And that mentality.
Yeah.
So leading on for that, what's one of the biggest lessons? It could be from another player, it could be from coaches, it could be from family members. What is the biggest lesson you learned during your football career?
I would say one thing that Coach Owen always said was the best ability is reliability. So always be reliable to other people and be able to be counted on by others, because then you never know when your name's going to be called. And if you're reliable, then you're exactly what you need to be. So that's the biggest thing I say I learned from Coach Owen. And then also just how far belief can take you and toughness can take you, because if you believe in something truly with your whole heart, then you can do it.
Yeah.
So, as cliche as it sounds,
Put your
I've
mind
just
to
found
it.
that out, in this career here that's possible.
For sure. I think that Coach O's obviously been one of the biggest influences on not my life, but the whole team.
Right.
He teaches us a lot of life lessons on how to be good men and how to treat women, how to treat your family, and I think it's just us becoming as we get older, becoming good men in the world. That's the biggest thing we've learned how to do just from him.
Inspirational.
Yeah.
Would you change anything? Even it could be from freshman year, or anything that you would change about your experience.
I would say I wouldn't dwell on what people who didn't actually know me had to say about me, whenever I was coming up, because there was people that were older than me and just thought that they knew everything about me, and they tried to tell me what my path was going to be and where
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go. And I let it bother me a little too much, but I eventually got over it, obviously. And I would just ignore it more, not let it dwell on me as much as I did whenever I was younger. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything.
Nothing.
I mean, I didn't play in 2022, but I mean, we lost. But I think that like those seniors that year set the foundation for us as we were coming up to build something that's never been done here, which is win back to back. So I think I
Right.
wouldn't change anything about it.
Yeah, and three years in a row
3 years
of
in a row.
sub-state champs.
Yeah.
Um, what's some word of advice for next year's varsity team or the next freshman coming in? Whatever advice you have.
I would say consistency in
Mm-hmm.
like either the weight room, the field, out of out of school. Like if you lift on your own, I'd just say just sticking with it and being consistent
Right.
because that'll take you a long way.
Right.
I would say not letting other people tell you what you can and can't do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they set a goal for themselves, which should be to be in the exact same spot that we were this year, like,
Right.
there's nobody that can take that away from you. Like, you're the only person who can control that, not other people. So, at the end of the day, you stay true to what you know, and what the people around you has to say about it and should be irrelevant, and you just stay focused on your goal. So,
Right. Just keep going.
yeah.
Keep going at it. Um, so what are your guys' future plans with when it comes to like your football career?
Um, I just signed with Hutch Community College to play football, and I
Nice.
think I'm going to study something like physical therapy, something
Yeah.
like that. I'm not 100% sure yet, but that's my plans for next year for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I signed at Hutch as well to play quarterback, so that's exciting.
Oh, you're back together.
So
Teammates for life.
Mm-hmm.
we'll be having to deal with each other a little bit longer. But
So
yeah,
I'm okay with it.
Hutch, I'm planning to get my registered nurse associate's degree, and then after
Nice.
that, go through nurse anesthetist school,
Mhm.
hopefully. But that is if I don't get the opportunity to continue playing at the next level. But yeah, that's my backup plan. So
Right.
it's a pretty good backup plan. But,
Yeah. And you'll have like a familiar face there for
Right,
each
right,
other, so
yeah.
it won't be that like
Yeah.
scary. Other than Coach O, who made you who got you to where you are?
I would say my mom and my dad, definitely, because I wouldn't be here without them. Also,
Right.
my siblings, too. Like, my sisters are so competitive.
Right.
And, like, my older sister, she just, like, we'd always play against each other, like, basketball or anything when we were younger. And she was always, like, taller than me until I got, like, bigger. But, like, she just, like, created this, like, competitive fire in me. And then my mom also played college basketball and all this stuff. So we're a pretty competitive family. And I think that has helped me to be where I'm at today. So
Right.
I would say my parents as well. They just have pushed me past where like I thought I could go, and they know that I could go past where I set goals for myself. So they've always tried to push me beyond that. Like whenever I came into high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and they're like, "You need to go play the hardest position. Go play quarterback. You can do it." I didn't know if I could do it. I was like, I've never played quarterback before, but
Right.
they always pushed that within me, and they've always pushed me to work hard too. So
Yeah.
those
definitely the
those
work
good
ethic
work
thing.
ethic
Yeah.
values, yeah.
Yeah, I mean family's a very important thing when it comes to sports.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Best role model / mentor, like when it comes to like peers. So like who is like one of your like so when you were in freshman year, who was your biggest like role model?
I think Jake McClure is one that's talked about a lot.
Mhm.
He did a lot of the little things right that Coach O talked about his very first year here, and was kind of the picture perfect player you imagined whenever you thought about somebody that fell under all of those specific things Coach O, wanted out of us as players. So he was one. And then in my class, like Caleb Dewey, he's a role model, student and player. So he's always been someone that I've tried to live like, one could say not
Not
necessarily live like,
up
but
to him, but
yeah, kind of in a sense, but because he won like best like best character
Yeah.
award in middle school for us in 8th grade. So yeah, but
Like
Yeah,
morally.
yeah.
right, yeah,
I'd probably say, you know, especially in my position group when I was like younger, like Ozzy Pogue and Dexter Carr, like those were guys that you look up to, and like you weren't hearing them getting yelled at by coaches or
Right.
anything. They were doing all the right stuff, whether that was in the weight room or on the field. So those are guys you obviously look up to. Definitely Spencer Easley.
Mm.
He was the hardest working player I've ever played with. And he was a great student and just a great person outside of
yeah, man of
football.
God too.
Man of God. And in my class, definitely him and Caleb Dewey, Caleb Moore. Those are guys that just are relentless with whatever they do, and like they're also like 4.0 students, so it's like
Right.
you want to be like them, and they just have good. Everybody has great character, so that's who you really want to model
Yeah,
your. Model
don't
your
fall
team.
short of character on the
Yeah.
team. That's
You
for
want to
sure.
have a good character.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we'll just do, what is one of the funniest stories?
The funniest story from this season, I'd say, was during summer. Coach McCall, the older one, new one, was thought he was a little bit more athletic than he is, and he was trying to demonstrate on hurdle hops. And I wasn't at the drill, but I was at a different station on the field,
We
and
were
then
across the field.
yeah, and we
were
heard
down-
the hurdles go crashing, and then everybody started dying laughing,
gosh.
and we turned over, and he had
He's trying to get up off the ground.
busted his tail, yeah, hopping over the hurdles and tripped, and then showed Coach O, I think, showed me the video, and it was of him falling, and just had us hysterical laughing. And it was
So everyone, it's like one of those moments where you're like, wow, you're gonna remember that for a
yeah,
long time.
I could not believe that just happened.
Other than that moment, there's not like one specific moment I can like capture. I think that like every team dinner we had, somebody always was saying something that just made the whole entire room laugh. Like there's every single team dinner, nobody ever failed to like have somebody crying, laughing to where they're crying. Braven's always crying when he laughs. Like he has tears coming out of his eyes like every team dinner because we were just so close that
Yeah.
nothing could tear us apart, literally.
Right.
So those were probably the most fun moments I've ever had were during team dinner or like sleepovers we would have at each other's houses, definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like this year, I know a lot of the younger ones, like they didn't feel like they were like pushed off. Like I feel like you said something about when you guys were younger.
Yeah.
Like you guys just invited them in, and it was just a deep connection, like just automatically.
Yeah. Yeah. The sophomore class, even though they're knuckleheads, we love them to death.
Right.
Like, even the freshman class, the freshmen that got brought up, you know, like they would practice with us during the playoffs, and
Right.
the guys that played D-line, I was just trying to show them how the right way is done, like those older guys did for me. So
Right.
just going 100% at practice, even when you're hurting or banged up, that shows them that it doesn't matter if you're hurt. You got to tough it up
Right.
and play through it. So
Yeah, I've never really liked the whole seniority has to treat younger
Yeah.
kids like
Yeah.
they're lesser
Yeah.
automatically.
Right.
Because I think those kids earn how they're treated. So if they're respectful and they work hard, there's no reason that they should be dogged on just because
Exactly.
they're
Yeah.
younger than you. So that was my biggest thing whenever I became a leader on the team, that I wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to be a leader. Like Coach O says, anybody can be a leader. And
Right.
so there's no seniority tag that comes with it, that like once you're a senior you can lead and treat people however you want to. So
Right.
like you said, I really did try to make sure that everybody was included in everything and had a chance, because you never know. We had some sophomores that were big players and contributors
Right.
to this team, and who knows, if we treated them badly, they may have not been as good as they were just because they were too worried about other things that weren't the game of football. So
Right.
leading by example and then just making everybody feel welcomed, because at the end of the day, we're all on the same team
Right.
and we have all the same goals to win. So
Yeah.
that degrades the team morale in a sense.
Yeah.
Just like trying to kill somebody's like dreams of
Yeah.
being a part of it. So
Well, that leads us right into, I didn't know if I said the toughest part of your year. Have we had
we
that
haven't
question
said
yet?
that yet.
But that leads us right into it. What is the toughest part of the season?
I think the after like week 7, week 8, and heading into the playoffs, your body's just banged up after
Right.
just consecutive weeks of just playing football. So I think you really have to buckle down and just fight through every single ounce of pain you have during the playoffs to get the job done. And like the last play or the last game of the year, he breaks his hand. I
Right.
played with a broken foot all year. Penn's shoulders torn up. Zach's shoulders torn up. Everybody just got.
Matlock just got surgery.
Matlock just had surgery
Oh
on his
my
ankle.
gosh.
He was hobbling every game. Yeah, it's all about sacrifice.
Right.
And if you don't sacrifice, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Right.
To add on to that, I would say after last year, we beat Mill Valley in a brutal fashion, and then this year it's a shootout game, and they get the ball last, and
Oh gosh, yeah.
they're the
I don't-
ones who get the chance to put it away, and then I think that was a tough one because we had a couple critical players injured that game,
Right.
and that was one of those games that like you remember those games for your entire life regardless because those are the hyped up games that everybody talks about. And so I think that one was tough, but the biggest thing was that we played good in the sense they just played better. So
Right.
we just had to realize that we weren't going to see them again regardless. So all we could do was continue to get better and each and every week and going into the playoffs, make sure that we were at the best we could be at that moment. So
Right.
Yeah, it did hurt though because we wanted to be 13-0,
yeah.
so we could come back and talk
Right.
to our seniors
Yeah,
last year.
from
We
last
told
year.
them
We told them.
Yeah.
I told them
We
that
told
I
them we
was
were gonna win
13
again.
and 0 and we're going to win state.
Oh, we just couldn't get that 13-0.
Couldn't get the back it up.
Yeah.
But it's good. I'd rather lose in the regular season than the playoffs. So
Right.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm okay with it.
Who has the best celebrations on the team? Like the after you get a touchdown or
I mean, Coach O, he doesn't really like celebrations like that.
He says you got to celebrate with the team.
Celebrate with the
Everybody
team.
celebrates
Oh.
together.
I
so.
think, not a celebration, just guys just dancing around like.
But the
Penn,
DBs be trolling
Yeah,
whenever
they be
they
trolling.
get a pick or
like Penn, Zach.
Zach's got a couple flags from celebrating.
last year and this year.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
worth it though.
goodness.
Coach O
They're
wouldn't say
definitely
so,
worth
but
it,
they're
definitely
worth
worth
it.
yeah.
Penn, he's always dancing, always doing something stupid. Who else? Eli's always dancing. I don't even know who else.
I had a couple handshakes with a few of the boys
Yeah,
on
always
offense. That
the
were a couple
handshakes are
tough.
nice.
Yeah. How about off the field on the sideline celebrations? Who do you think like you just spot right out of and you're just like every time?
I feel like it's like just Penn every time he's doing something.
Eli be
Eli.
trolling too sometimes.
It's just those dudes, they love to dance.
Yeah.
Eli's always loved to dance.
Yeah. Most of the time, we don't even get to see each other
Yeah.
on the other sides of the ball whenever big plays happen because we're in the tent watching film and so
Right.
all we hear is the crowd scream.
Yeah. I always knew that something good happened when the crowd was screaming, and then
Yeah.
when it was like, oh,
Yeah.
we're like,
Or go silent, then you know they're
Yeah.
running
it's
for
like,
help.
we must have just fumbled or something.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Whoa.
Being in those crowds, it's like a whole different like experience, especially with the state championship.
I bet
You're
that
just
was
like
fun.
your heart is always beating, and you're like, okay, like what's gonna
I've
happen
always
next?
tried to think of it from like the student body perspective.
Oh my
I wonder what
goodness.
it's like. Because I know how I feel on the field. It's like when winning, it's like you worked for it so hard during the summer,
Yeah.
and then it's like it comes true, and you just this overflow of emotion hits you, and you just,
Yeah.
then your mom comes and hugs you, and you just start crying, and it's like all the mornings in the summer we had to wake up and just
Yeah, you're like it's so worth it.
body hurts, everything, and then you just get to relax after you win.
Sacrifice so much of your life.
Right.
Literally your entire summer when you can be out going to parties with friends and all that stuff.
Yeah. Having fun, being a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. And then the last one. So I know you said something about breaking your hand for that last play. What was like going through your mind? It was what? How many yards was it? Like put us in your shoes at that moment.
Okay, so I think it
Well,
was-
give her the story of 2022 when we lost on the goal line
Oh yes.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
so
against Manhattan.
that was
Yes.
my sophomore year. I took over week 6. Great game, and then we beat Olathe East, I think, and then we lose to Olathe South our last week.
We lost late the East.
No, we beat my sophomore year.
sophomore?
Yeah, we beat
I'm
Olathe
thinking
East.
about junior year.
And then the last game of the year, we lose to Olathe South, and seniors are heartbroken after that game.
Right.
Then we just keep knocking them off in the playoffs to the state game. I'm like, it's a big stage for a sophomore. Had just turned 16.
Yeah.
I was like 165, 60 pounds. And we had some struggles offensively. The defense came to play that game. They played really well, and then we did just enough on offense to stay in the game.
Right.
And it came down to the last drive. We knew that I was just going to keep going back and forth, and we scored the touchdown, and Coach Delaney was like, we're going to go for it. And then he called the play, run the play, and we push it too wide, and it goes out at the half-yard line. But I knew from like that moment on, and any other time it ever came down to a close play, like the ball was going to be in my hands, like regardless. And so I made sure I talked to the coaches about that. And obviously junior year, it didn't really, I mean, it actually did kind of come down to that because it came down to getting the first down. It was 4th and short, and it came down to us getting that first down to be able to take the knee. And I was like, Coach, I'm going to run it. And then I run it, get stopped short. They push us back, and then I dig in and get the extra couple. And then this year, I think it was our Thanksgiving practice before the state game.
It was so cold.
Yeah.
I bet.
I just was talking to Coach McCall. I was like, Coach McCall, I just want you to know that if it comes down to any short yardage situation, the ball's going to be in my hand. And he was like, no doubt, no doubt. And I was like, glad we're on the same page. And then lo and behold, it comes down to
your hand.
Yeah, last drive. Actually, the drive before the last drive, we give the ball away, and the game's in our defense's hands, and I'm just on the sideline praying.
Yep.
And defense gets the stop. We go.
Oh my goodness, I just remember that.
We run a play. Run another play, and I run for the first down, and there's 2 dudes on me, and then another one comes in with his helmet, straight helmet, and on my hand just crushes it. I go to the ground, I get up, and I try to move my hand, and then I go feel it, and I could feel the bone separated, and I'm like, oh God, my hand's broken, and I'm like, not again.
Right.
And I was just, emotions were crazy, and Coach calls a timeout. We go to the huddle, and I'm like, Coach, my hand's broken. I'm 100% sure my hand's broken. And everybody's looking at it. And Coach was like, yeah, we're almost there.
He did not care.
Nah.
He was like, no, you're going to play.
I was like, yeah, I know, but I just wanted to tell you my hand's broken. And I was like, Matlock, you got to hold this snap back there as long as you can. I don't know what's going to happen if I'm going to be able to even grab the ball. And
right.
Apparently, he thought I was joking because after the game, he was like, "You're serious? You were serious? Your hands were actually broken?" I was like, "Why? When the most important play of our life,
right?
Would I tell you that my hand's broken to joke about it?"
Matlock, man,
knucklehead, man. But anywho, then we run the play, and I feel it. I'm having to hold the ball with 2 hands, run, play to the left twice, and we get stuffed. I almost get it on the second one, but they barely yank me out. And then we call outside zone. Yeah, outside zone right, follow. And we get in, and I'm just laying on the ground holding the ball like this. And the crowd's screaming, and everybody's jumping up and down. They come and pick me up off the ground. It was just the emotions were so conflicting because I was like, no way, I just broke my hand again. But we just won. We're going to win the state championship now. Yeah. And I got to the sideline, and everybody was trying to dap me up, and I'm just like, nah, I can't.
You're like, left hand.
Yeah, left hand, yeah. And everybody were like, what happened? I'm like, my hand's broken. And I was so mad, but I was so happy at the same time. So, tears of joy started coming out, and then there were, tears of anger started coming out after it. It was kept going back and forth. And then I was talking to Kat, and she was like, yeah, we got to get a splint on this. And you got to go to the ER. And I'm like,
oh no.
Not again. I couldn't make it the whole season. I was so close.
Right.
And he broke his wrist last year.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I was out for forever for that, 4 months from my wrist. And then I throw up the Hail Mary and it's over. We all run on the field and I get the trophy and I got this big splint on my hand and everybody's asking me what happened. Like,
What was going through your mind? What was going through your mind on that last play? Those like 2 seconds till.
So I
What?
think, but before that play, the defense had a drive to get a stop, and we if we didn't get a stop there, we're gonna lose the game because
Right.
were we down?
Yeah.
We were down I think it was like 27-32 or something like that, and by the grace of God, we get a stop. They kind of like bite themselves in the butt because they just get like 2 or 3 penalties in a row. So we're capitalizing on that. So we get off the field, offense comes on. I think the offense starts on like the 35 maybe.
something like that, yeah.
We get all the way down to like the 10, and that's where like I come in. Me and LJ come in because we play tight end, and he gets stopped like 2 times. He gets stopped once on the goal line, and there's like 10 seconds left, maybe 13
Yeah,
seconds.
we have a timeout.
We have one timeout. We call a timeout. So we lined up like Caleb Moore, me, LJ on the right side, just heavy, just power. So we run like outside zone to the right. And last play of the game on offense, we just mauled like 3 people in front of us. Braven walked in there untouched. And at that moment, like Braven's on the ground. And we all run over to him, grab him, pick him up. And we're like, oh my gosh. And we're like, to me, I just like, we just won a second state championship. Like, there's
Right.
no way they scored after. And defense goes back out. They get like one little pass off and they get out of bounds. So the time stops with like 1 second left. They throw up a Hail Mary. The Manhattan player, he like touches the ball with his hands. And
He had like both of
he
his
had both his
hands
hands on it.
But
And
Penn,
it was Briggs got in there and
Oh, yeah.
popped it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So game's over. And I just stand there everybody's running on the field. I'm just standing there like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like
there's
that just
no way
happened.
that we just did it. So I think first person I run over to I think is Coach Enlow. I just give him a big hug, and then we start running down to like the goal line where we stopped them, and we just dogpiled on there. And once we get up, it's just like all the fans come down, all the students come down.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my gosh, like. And it was just the craziest feeling ever.
Yeah.
Like I think the first one like was more emotional for me, but the second one was just like
Disbelief.
it's like it was like unbelievable. Like
Right.
nobody's done it twice in a row, like on the eastern side of Kansas since like Coach O's Olathe North teams. So
Right.
it's a crazy thing, and I'm really excited for Coach O because he's been able to do it,
Yeah.
with 2 different teams as a player and a coach. So I
In
think
the second year
yeah,
of Coach of the Year award.
yeah,
Yeah.
2-time Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't win without great people around you. So that's really
Surreal. I mean, it's a good bang. Your senior year.
go
You're
out
going
a
out
bang.
with the
Yeah.
second state champ.
Get to do it with the guys we've done it with forever.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to play these dudes in middle school, but
Yeah.
yeah, we hated each other in middle school too. Hated each other.
me and Caleb Moore went to the same middle school, and we didn't like each other. But now,
Wow.
like, we're best friends. And, like,
Right.
I'll do anything. I'll run through a wall for him, bro.
Right.
So it's like, just the bonds we've made over the last 4 years is remarkable. And like, we found out we were cousins in high school. So like,
Wow.
freshman year, we were all summer. We were like just hanging out all the time, and then like
Just at basketball.
at
practice.
basketball, and then like we have a summer league game at Blue Valley West, and our moms like connect, and then like we figure out who our dads are and all this stuff, and like it's like he's my cousin, so it's like
That's crazy.
yeah, it's awesome. And now we're roommates. We're gonna be roommates in college together.
Yeah. Oh.
And then later on in life, we'll have some land, and we'll have a little plant for
A
our
house
families.
together and
Few
stuff.
houses,
Well,
a dual
couple-
complex.
Couple of
Yeah.
houses for our families together one day.
Do you have anything that you want to add to like? Yeah.
Keep God first in your life, and never stop chasing your dreams, and anything is possible with God. So that's all I would say.
Very inspirational.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Jesus performed a lot of miracles that were impossible and improbable. So to think that you can't do something that's been done before, let alone something that hasn't been done before, is short-minded of you.
Very.
So don't ever hold yourself below what you think you can do. So
Nice. We have a very inspirational bunch here. That's all we have for today's episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Blazer News Center, and on Spotify, the Blazer Bites podcast. There should be a QR code on the screen where you can get to the Q&R and ask any questions that you have. Do you guys want to out your guys' like Instagrams or anything, social media?
just look up Braven, and it should pop up on all platforms.
Yes.
Just look up Isaiah Williams. It should pop up.
Also follow the GHS football Instagram.
Yeah, go Blazers.
sure.
Go Blazers.
Yes, go Blazers.